If there's one thing professional and National Football League running back Alvin Kamara is good at doing besides playing pro football, it's making people wonder where he came from. A lot of people aren't really sure where Alvin Kamara came from, how he came up, or how he achieved the success he has, so I would like to showcase that today in this video. A lot of people just aren't sure where exactly Alvin Kamara came from. People were questioning why the Saints drafted him while having Mark Ingram, and that only just adds another taste of success into Alvin Kamara's story. So instead of talking about what we're doing, let's get into why we're doing. Alvin Kamara was born to a Liberian mother. He attended Norcross High School in Norcross, Georgia. He played high school football for the Blue Devils football team, and as a junior in 2011, he rushed for 1,300 yards with 17 touchdowns. This was just a peek, a little glimpse as to what Alvin Kamara held for the future. As a senior in 2012, he rushed for 2,264 yards with 26 touchdowns, and he had 22 receptions for 286 yards and 5 touchdowns, and led his high school to its first state championship. As a result of his successful high school career, Kamara earned Georgia Mr. Football honors from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, named Class 6A Player of the Year, and earned first-team All-State honors from the Georgia Sports Writers Association. I know, it's a lot. In addition to all these accolades, Kamara was selected to participate in the 2013 Under Armour All-America Game. Coming out of high school, Kamara was considered to be one of the top running back prospects in the nation. He was rated the number 1 all-purpose back in the 24/7 composite, the number 5 player in Georgia, and the number 42 player nationally in 2012. Rivals.com rated Kamara as the number 6 player in Georgia overall. With all of that being said, Kamara ended up committing to play college football at the University of Alabama under head coach Nick Saban. Alvin Kamara's short time at the University of Alabama was quoted to be a rough experience. He had knee surgery during the preseason, then redshirted as a true freshman when he was unable to break into a recruitment class that featured 3 other future NFL running backs in Derrick Henry, TJ Yeldon, and Kenyon Drake. Due to quote-unquote behavioral issues, Saban banned Kamara from practicing with the team and suspended him from their bowl game. That is a huge hit to put on one of your top high school recruits. Kamara allegedly badmouthed the program to large-scale visiting recruits. He clearly learned his lesson. In 2015, Alvin Kamara transferred to the University of Tennessee to play under head coach Butch Jones. As a redshirt sophomore, Kamara played in all 13 games and shared the backfield with Jalen Hurd and John Kelly. He accounted for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns in his Tennessee debut against Bowling Green at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee on September 5th, 2015. His 144 rushing yards set a school record for the most rushing yards in a debut game. He became the second volunteer in history with a rushing touchdown and punt return for a touchdown in the same game, with a 2-yard rushing touchdown and a 50-yard punt return touchdown against Western Carolina. That is how you set a look on yourself. On November 14th against North Texas, he had 15 carries for 127 yards and 2 touchdowns in the home victory. Tennessee finished with a 9-4 record and qualified for the Outback Bowl against number 12 ranked Northwestern. In the 45-6 victory over the Wildcats, he had 53 rushing yards and a touchdown. In the entire 2015 season, he accounted for 698 yards with 7 rushing touchdowns. He averaged 6.5 yards per carry, which was 3rd in the SEC as a whole. He was second on the team in receptions with 34 for 291 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. And as a punt returner, he had 8 returns for 100 yards with a touchdown. That made Tennessee think that they had somebody special. Regardless of how you view what his stats were, a sophomore doesn't do that type of work. In 2016, Kamara was a key contributor for the Volunteers in his redshirt junior season. In the regular season finale against Vanderbilt, he had 3 total touchdowns, 2 rushing and 1 receiving, and 141 scrimmage yards in the 45-34 defeat. In the final game of his collegiate career, he had 7 carries for 31 yards and 7 receptions for 46 yards in the victory over number 24 Nebraska in the Music City Bowl. He finished 3rd in the SEC in touchdowns for his 2016 season. Following the conclusion of the 2016 season, Kamara decided to forego his redshirt senior season and enter the 2017 NFL Draft. In his 2 seasons as a volunteer, he started in only 8 of 24 games due to sharing the backfield with Jalen Hurd. But he amassed more than 2,000 yards from scrimmage and averaged a touchdown per game. That was a preview look into his role as his first year as a Saint. That's crazy. And now we move on to the 2017 NFL Draft. Kamara completed nearly every single drill at the NFL Combine and posted the highest Wonderlic test score of the participating running backs. He participated at Tennessee's Pro Day, but chose only to run positional routes, the short shuttle, and the 3-cone drill with 19 other teammates in front of representatives and scouts from every team. He attended 5 private workouts and visits held by the Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, Minnesota Vikings, New Orleans Saints, and Philadelphia Eagles. NFL draft experts and analysts projected him as a second-round pick, ranked as either the 4th best running back by NFLDraftScout.com, ESPN, and NFL analyst Mike Mayock. In the draft, 5th best, Bucky Brooks, or 7th best by Sports Illustrated. But as we know, the New Orleans Saints ended up drafting him with the 67th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. What a steal for the 3rd round. And now we get a glimpse as to where everything really starts. In 2017, Kamara split backfield duties with Mark Ingram Jr., but ended up having fewer carries and more receptions than his teammate. Kamara scored his first professional touchdown in Week 3 against the Carolina Panthers, and then he became the first player since Herschel Walker in 1986 to compile 500 rushing and receiving yards in his first 11 career games, and was the first non-quarterback to average over 7 yards per carry through 12 weeks since the merger. In Week 13, Kamara rushed for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns and caught 5 passes for 66 yards, becoming the 4th 600 rushing/600 receiving rookie in NFL history. On the first drive of the Week 13 matchup with Atlanta, Kamara suffered a concussion and missed the rest of the game. He returned the next week with 44 rushing yards and 45 receiving yards and a touchdown against the Jets. On December 19th, 2017, Kamara was named to the Pro Bowl as a rookie alongside Mark Ingram, becoming the first ever pair of running backs from the same team to earn that honor. He was also named to the NFL All-Rookie team. In 2017, Alvin Kamara's 728 rushing and 826 yards receiving was the first 700 by 700 season by a New Orleans Saint, 3rd by an NFL rookie, and 11th 700 by 800 season of any NFL player. His 728 rushing yards finished 3rd among rookies behind leading rusher Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette. His 81 receptions on the season were 1st among all rookies and 2nd in the league among running backs behind Le'Veon Bell, and his 826 receiving yards finished 1st among all running backs ever by an NFL rookie, any Saints player ever, and the 3rd most by any NFL player since 1980. After a stellar rookie season, Kamara was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was ranked number 20 by his fellow peers on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2018. And now we move into his sophomore season in the National Football League. With teammate Mark Ingram Jr. suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season, Kamara started the 2018 season as the Saints' main running back. In the season opener, a 48-40 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kamara had 8 carries for 29 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns to go along with 9 receptions for 112 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. Against the New York Giants, Kamara had career best in carries, 19, rushing yards, 134, and rushing touchdowns, 3, along with 47 receiving yards to take the NFL lead in total in rushing touchdowns, yards from scrimmage, and all-purpose yards. With his Week 4 performance, Kamara became the first player in NFL history to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in his first 20 games. He also tied the franchise record for most touchdowns in a single season. Overall, he finished his second professional season with 883 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns, 81 receptions, 709 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. Sounds like a lot for a locker room cancer, huh, Alabama? From a lost cause to an NFL superstar, Alvin Kamara has come a long way since his days in Alabama. Alvin Kamara truly has one of the most fantastic success stories in the entire NFL. And since the 2018-2019 season has come to a close, we still have yet to see Alvin Kamara's full potential. We should get a better glimpse of his ceiling now that his partner in crime, Mark Ingram, has left the Saints to sign with the Baltimore Ravens, though. What do you guys think? Have we seen the most of Kamara, or is that yet to come? Comment down below and make sure to subscribe for more Saints content just like this. Let me know what you think Alvin Kamara is going to accomplish in the future, and predict his stat line for next season, why don't you? Thank you guys for tuning in. I can't thank you enough. Adios.